So I'm from Colombia. I have to start from there. I believe that if you want to learn a language, you need to have a full immersion. So that's when the aha moment, was kind of obvious for me. So I wanna empower more women. I think follow your heart, follow your heart. It can be tiring, it can be challenging, but if you really passionate and if you really put your heart into it.
Welcome to today's episode of I'm Fine But. Today I am joined with Milena. Now, Milena has a language company. I am absolutely terrible at pronouncing anything in any language, even English, to be honest, is a struggle. So, Milena, please, can you introduce your business because you can roll your R's beautifully.
Thank you, Rosa, and thank you for having me here. So, the name of the business is El Recreo Spanish. I know it's a little bit difficult to, basically rolling the tongue. El Recreo Spanish.
It sounds beautiful, and it does not sound like that when I say it in a Yorkshire accent. So, Milena, tell me a little bit about you and what your business does.
Well, so this business has been going on for 10 years. We teach Spanish to children, all ages, including babies. We have teenagers program, children primary school age, and adults. So basically all ages.
Amazing. And you're a mum to 3 children yourself?
I am a mom. I am a twin mom. So my daughter is 16 and the boys are 11. And it all started because of a need, basically, of the language.
So take us back to the beginning. So what did you do before you ran this business?
So I'm from Colombia. I have to start from there. I came to England to study English because I believe that if you want to learn a language, you need to have a full immersion. So that's what I tried to do. And then I met my husband. My husband is from Poland, so we are a multicultural family here in the UK. So back in Colombia, I did business. So I studied business, and that was my passion. And I always knew I wanted to have a business. I never thought coming here I will end up having an educational business like I do. I was working in auditory, I was working in accounting, in finances. I did a little bit of everything, but when I was little, I did ballet. So I was also teaching ballet to teenagers. So this is the only background that I had as a teacher. So I think becoming a mom opened the opportunity to start the business. I think it was a need, for my family. And then as we start, introducing different classes, it was growing and it was a need that, different kind of families needed here in the UK.
So when you came across to the UK, what were you doing? What was your job when you first came here?
I was a personal assistant. Well, I was continuing with my career because I studied business in Colombia, but I couldn't finish there because then we got married, we moved to London, and then I continued my career. So I was trying to do this while I was studying, but also when I was being a mom. Then I started exploring different things, different type of businesses. I just really wanted to have a business, but being a mom is a full-time job, especially when you are a first-time mom. And also when you are from another country, you are learning the language, you are learning the systems, you are trying to, to settle. So it was a bit difficult. So I ended up doing different things. And one of the things was oils, essential oils.
Okay.
So I found that I have a Hashimoto. It's a condition. It's an autoimmune condition. And I was trying to find natural ways to, to expose my body less, harm, any kind of chemicals that can be harmful to the body. So that's how I ended up doing a business with oils. And I became very passionate about it, really passionate about, but also became part of something that I really needed in that time.
So was that a company that was already existing that you went in to sell their products?
Yes, that's correct. So I was trying to sell the oils, but I just thought I have another kind of need, and the need was the language for my daughter. And that's where, I kind of have to start looking at other kind of opportunities.
Okay, so at what point did you decide to move away from selling oils to build something completely from scratch?
So basically, when my daughter, she was 6, her mother tongue was Spanish because we were speaking Spanish at home all the time. And I was super proud of that because she was able to speak to my parents, she was able to speak to my family, we were communicating at home. But then she started school, is the time when obviously she will have more interaction with the English language. I was a little bit worried, to be honest. I was thinking she will not learn English, she will not speak English, so she will be like more like shy. But the English became really natural for her, like it was really coming quite easy. But then the Spanish was, becoming another language for her. She was just answering in English. I was speaking Spanish again, but she was answering in English. So that's when the aha moment, was kind of obvious for me.
So for me, I have always been terrible at languages. It's something that doesn't sit well in my head. I remember really struggling at school, just trying to pick up basic French. And
Yeah.
everybody that I knew who was able to speak multiple languages, it fascinated me. What language does your brain speak in? So is it your predominant language that you were brought up in, or is it the language that you are speaking currently to the people that you're with, or does it change? And that part really fascinates me. So your daughter was brought up just speaking Spanish in the household, and as soon as she hit school, she started to then learn English from being 6.
Yes, that's correct. We also have a little bit of exposure to Polish because daddy was around, he was trying to speak Polish. So she was like a multi-language, multicultural child, which is
Wow.
fascinating because what we try to do at home is not only bring in the language aspects of the learning another language, but also the cultural aspects. So the food, the music, being a Latina here in the UK, whenever you hear salsa or merengue or this kind of bachata, any kind of music, you feel like this is it, this is like home, like is calling you. Yeah.
And did she ever mix up her languages as she was learning? Did she ever sort of say one thing in English and finish the sentence in Spanish and then have a bit of Polish?
Yes, she did. She did all the time. And the boys as well. With the boys, it was a bit different journey, I think, with the languages. But yeah, even us, sometimes we mix the words in the house because obviously my husband is from Poland, I am from Colombia, but the common language, the family language is the English. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like, it is fascinating. It's really nice. We try to embrace all these elements in the house, and it's really nice.
So where did your business idea come from this point? How did it develop to get to where it is today?
So it all started a group of moms. We have kids in primary school, and we have babies. So my babies came along. They were, I think, 1.5. And I think the first thing, we needed a community, and that was my biggest feeling because I was alone, moving from another country, but also moving from another place of London. We were living in around Bermondsey area, and then we came to live in Greenwich. So it was like like finding your community, finding your hub, and we created a community with 2 friends, one Colombian and another Argentinian, and we started creating these spaces for the babies. Yeah, so we were like hanging out with the babies. The mamas were really excited about the community, and then all of a sudden we thought, well, we are good with the babies, but what about the kids in primary school? So we say, okay, let's do a class, let's just for fun, just to see, even if it's just our kids, because there were 3 kids at that time. We just try. And to our surprise, I think we have 13 kids that day.
Wow.
And we noticed that the kids that were attending, they have a Spanish background. So we have from Argentina, from Spain, from Colombia, from Peru, from Bolivia, so different countries. So we started the classes. We say, okay, we can't stop here. We need to do this every weekend. So that's how we started. Then the business started to grow quite organically because we thought, okay, we have kids that have a Spanish background, but what about the kids that don't, and the parents, they want to introduce a second language. So that's why we created beginners classes. And then we have moms with babies. So we thought, okay, we need to create classes for toddlers and babies. And then I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, we created a program with baby massage to introduce babies to the second language, because obviously the mom can learn Spanish with the babies. And also they could learn routines, and they could learn, different rhymes, songs in Spanish. So it was like a win-win, mom and baby, and also the connection that you have with the baby massage.
It's so interesting to introduce it from such a young age because
Yeah.
currently at the moment, we are trying to learn German between me and my two girls, and they pick it up so much quicker than I do. Like it'll be
Yeah.
speaking something, and it takes me quite a while to go, okay, this means this means this. That's what that sentence means. And their brains just go, oh yeah, it's this. I'm like, how do you do that? And I do think it's so important to get that in at such a young age when the brains are just absorbing it like a sponge.
Yes, they are. They are. And the kids are so curious that we just have to kind of like guide them through the language. So if they like reading, so we go. If they like dancing, so we go with the music. If they like, I don't know, like they like arts and crafts. So that's why we try to create different kind of ways, techniques, because everyone learns in different ways. So for example, I am a visual learner. So I like to see flashcards. I would like to see, I would like to interact with people, whereas other people like more the listening. So it is really fascinating.
Have you found the building of your business has been quite smooth?
It's been really ups and downs. You have the challenges of having to look after your family, but also managing a team. Also, 3 years ago, I decided to franchise the business because we've been asked for classes in different locations, and obviously we can't be everywhere. And the franchise business model was the one that I thought this will work, because I want to make sure that, families around the UK, they have a community like us here in Southeast London. We say raising a child, it takes a whole village to raise a child. So if you want to raise a bilingual child, you need a community. This is what we believe. We need a community. We need the experiences. So that's why we don't only do classes. We do events. We do holiday camps, workshops. So we try to take every opportunity.
So you saw the opportunity to then scale your business from where it was working really well. How did you find that transition into creating it as a franchise?
It has been like exhausting. It is because, first you're selling, you're reaching different kind of people. You are reaching families that want to raise bilingual kids. We also teach teenagers and adults. So you are giving a message, but then now you are giving another message. You are trying to reach, Spanish speakers, native Spanish speakers here living in the UK that love the language, that love the culture, and they want to do the same business that we have here and like replicate it in different locations. So, finding systems, training, it's been really challenging, but I think we have achieved so much. Thanks to everyone in the team, everyone getting involved, and the support that I have from my husband, my family, is being like, if I didn't have that, it would be like impossible.
If anybody is watching that's running a business and thinks, actually, I want to go down this route, can you pinpoint any real challenges that you've found? Have you found that somebody that's running it a different location has diluted your messaging, or have you found that it's worked really well? What has been the, the pitfalls or the highs of doing it this way?
I will say that mostly is kind of balancing life, like some of them, they have a job, they have a family, we all parents. So having this balance is the key, like not leaving your family behind, but not also leaving the business, taking action. Sometimes little actions, take you really far if you are consistent. So this is something that with the team we try to speak all the time. We need to start taking action. We need to keep going. We need to keep visible. We need to, when you do something with passion, I think it makes more sense. So I think finding the right people and finding the right teachers, finding the right people is the challenge sometimes. But once you find your people, things just flow and systems are there in place. It's just trying to make it all work. Sometimes it can be challenging. Yeah.
And in terms of finding the right people, because that is a really tricky aspect, I know that we've struggled with that over the years to get the right people. And exactly like you've just said, once you've got your right people, you're like, yes, you are right for this. What things do you put in place in order to make sure that you do get the right people on board?
So I think most of our franchisees have been our teachers. Yeah.
Okay.
So they experience, being the teachers. One of them was one of our teachers that was helping us to implement our new curriculum. And you can just see the passion. You can just see the passion, and it's just like a no-brainer for them. Like, that's it. I love it. I just want to go for it. So when you see this attitude, you are like, yeah, you are the one. You are the one I've been looking for. But sometimes it's even surprising because you don't know the person. They come to you, and then you give it the message, and I'm hoping to give the message, the correct message, what we want in the team. We want someone passionate for language and culture. And then, if they come forward, you start, conversations. So yeah, I think it's passion. Um, some people think you need to be a teacher, like Spanish teacher, to have a business, but this is not true. I am not a teacher. I am more like on the business side, and we have different kind of people in our team. So we have people who are teachers, they don't have the business side, or the opposite, they have the business side on the teaching. But then some of them, they're like, I just want to try something new, and also I want my kid to speak Spanish. I want to create, this kind of environment for my child.
Have you had anybody that's come on board either as a franchisee or a teacher that hasn't been right for you?
Yes, 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 we have.
Because I know from a franchisor's point of view that you put so much effort and love and enthusiasm into getting these people up and started. What effect did that have on you personally?
Wow, yeah, this is something that is kind of close to my heart right now because it's been happening recently. And I think we put so much heart into our business, that we want our business to be treated as, we treat it like with love, with, going with the mission, with the vision, with the values. And we keep talking about the mission and the values, and everything that we do is your business. And you work really hard to bring people in, and you want everyone to have the same experience. You want the parent to be happy, you want the child to be happy, you want everyone to be positive. So I think we just need to protect what we create. And this is quite sad, but people should understand, that we work hard and this is our mission. And if maybe the person needs another challenge.
Especially if you're a franchisor, it's very close to your heart. It's almost like one of your babies that it's so close to you that if you can see it going off on a different tangent, or maybe that person isn't right for it, or maybe they're not bringing enough revenue in, or they're not being as present as they need to be on social media, you can give and give and give
Yeah.
as much as you can. You can give your heart and your soul to the business and to the brand and to that person, but they do have to meet you halfway. And
Yeah.
that's been, for me, that's been a very hard lesson. And I've actually do a lot of mindset work on going, I can only control my controllables. And
Yeah.
I think that is something to consider if you are looking at franchising your business and scaling that way, that you have to almost let the reins go a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I really relate what you were saying. Um, because the systems are there, we create the systems that, everything is right there for you to just do it, but if you don't take action, you can't just expect the business to, run itself because, you are representing a brand and for us, is really hard to leave our baby, like you say, and having people that don't go with the with what we want. But I think, as you say, we need to kind of like relax a little bit and we just say, this is what we have. We know it works because it's working for others and it's working for us. You just have to take action and just give it. I mean, in my country we have a saying, and we say, if you have a store, you need to be at the front. You need to be right there. People need to know who you are. They don't know who you are, people buy from people. People don't buy from a brand, from colors. They see you as at the front line. So you need to show up. You need to show yourself. Everyone has different personalities, which is great. You bring this into the business. Everyone has different tone of talking to people, to customers, but at the same time, we are one. So we are a
Yeah.
team. We work together, and that's what we want.
Yeah, and I think that comes with the stigma of a franchise as well, because if you look at a franchise like McDonald's, every
Yeah.
McDonald's you walk into looks exactly the same. When you are a
Yeah.
people-based franchise, when you are dealing with delivering to other people, it's a very personal thing, and you are effectively, every franchisee has to create their own audience. They have to be the face of their brand, of their area of the brand. Yes, we give them the tools, and it is all about personality. You're not going to go into one class in London and it be exactly the same. It might be the same content, but it might be
Yeah.
delivered in a slightly different way due to
Yeah.
personality. And I think that is, again, something to consider if you are looking down this route of franchising to scale. Is it going to be a carbon copy, or is there going to be some variation between the different classes?
Yeah.
So where do you envision your business going now? Because you've got this really great concept. It sounds amazing. It makes me want to go and go do some salsa and learn some Spanish. Again,
Thank
I
you.
would be terrible, the worst one there. But where do you see it going now?
So now, I just want to be everywhere in the UK. I want to expand the business as much as I can, because I know there might be people looking, watching, oh, this is a great opportunity, but I don't take action. I'm afraid, I'm worried, is this going to work, So I wanna empower more women. Most of us we're women, but moms, but men are welcome. Actually, some of the husbands, also are involved in the business, which is great to see it. I want to empower more people to, to do what you have an amazing gift, a language. You live here, you are already bilingual, so you might as well use this as a strength to have a very positive impact in the community that you are, because we are a very small community here in the UK. We are 21 Spanish speaking countries. I know people might think, oh, it's only Spain, but we have 21 Spanish speaking countries and we have a lot of nationalities here in the UK. And it can feel lonely. It can feel like you are losing your identity, your roots. And that's why we are more focusing on creating communities, creating communities that, can be strong. So this is what we want. We want to have communities in different parts of UK. This is what we really want. We also have
Amazing.
our books. We have our books. We have created our curriculum. So we also want to start helping moms that want to do homeschooling. They have the curriculum books now. So is implementing different things that you can do to bring more exposure to the language, because obviously we are not in everywhere in the UK yet, but we might be soon.
It's so inspiring as well what you're doing. So, if you could give one piece of advice to somebody that's watching or listening and they are thinking of either setting up a business or maybe they've got a business and they want to scale it like you did, can you give them one piece of advice that you've learned yourself in this journey that will help them?
Yes, I think follow your heart, follow your heart. It can be tiring, it can be challenging. But if you really passionate and if you really put your heart into it, things will flow. People will help you. People will encourage you. Your family. If you have the support, I think nothing can stop you. It's just believe in yourself. Basically, believe in yourself. You see, speaking another language, for me, it's been at the beginning. It was a little bit hard to understand systems and language and everything going on. But I believe in myself, and my husband did believe in me. So I think this is it. Just believe in yourself.
Amazing. So, if our listeners want to come and find you, Milena, where can they find you online?
Yes, so we are El Recreo Spanish. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we have a YouTube channel, El Recreo Spanish Kids. We also have our website, elrecreospanish.com. There you can find our classes. We have online classes as well in different parts of the UK. If you are not around in our sites, at the moment we are in 6 locations. We are in Edinburgh, Bournemouth, Greenwich, Croydon, and Kent. And also the online classes, adults, teenagers, and children. And we also have our courses for parents raising bilingual kids.
I just think you're so inspiring, and thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey with us. I'm going to put all the links that Milena has shared with us in the show notes. So if you want to find out about her business, then you can do at the bottom of this episode. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Rose, so much for inviting me. And also, I have to say, you are an inspiration for many women. So I've been following you. So thank you so much for having me. Yeah. So I'm from Colombia. I have to start from there. At the beginning, it was a little bit hard to understand systems and language and everything going on. But I believe in myself, and my husband did believe in me. So I think this is it. Just believe in yourself. At the beginning, it was a little bit hard to understand systems and language and everything going on. But I believe in myself, and my husband did believe in me. So I think this is it. Just believe in yourself.
You've just listened to I'm Fine But. If you're unsure about business or what really matters to you right now, why not take our free core values course? It's linked in the show notes and it's a brilliant place to begin. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and you can follow us online at all your favourite social media platforms at Baby Beats UK. Until next time, I'm Rose and I'm fine. But honestly, we're all just figuring it out.